horse as black as night sat a figure who set to put out the lights of the folks who'd made the crossing from the south. They'd heard the rumors of this ghostly apparition with pistols and rifles and bags of munition, graveyard eyes and a black hole for a mouth. Of families with children, neighbors and friends, few were ever seen again as they were laid to waste across the desert plains. And as from whom he took his orders, well, it seems his only boss was the border. He guarded like a kingdom where death and murder reigns. Few had lived to tell the tale, but at town's edge a woman old and frail claims she glimpsed that face by the moon's pale light. When asked to tell just what she saw, she pointed to a wanted poster from years before of a young man wanted for killing the sheriff in a gunfight. The faded name and the faded face, Brook Smothers, was wanted across 3 states but was rumored to have disappeared many years before. The town's bartender said it couldn't be him. I shot that man along with Diamond Jim, although maybe it was Big Red Tom and Diamond Joe. Well, either way, it wasn't clear. 50 years of serving and drinking beer, one thing was certain, that bartender's mind was gone. But the woman was sure, said her memory was true, so the townsfolk knew just what they had to do. The reports of the bodies coming through one by one. Now folks can argue about what goes on, but they knew that all of that killing was wrong, so they gathered a posse of townsfolk, horses and guns. 9 riders left town that fateful night, guarded only by a firelight, and for 8 of those 9 their earthly race was run. When they reached the plains just above the border, there was a ghostly wind and a cry of murder. Somehow Smothers took half the riders from out of nowhere. And as quick as he'd appeared, he was gone again. Knew that posse had come for him, and he circled back, disappeared into the midnight air. 4 riders remained, 2 bleeding bad, and for a moment Jimmy Jones thought he had him, but bullets took him and 2 others to the desert floor. In all the confusion, it wasn't clear if anyone was left standing there, and if that ghostly killer wanted more. Smothers, like the wind, disappeared again, leaving just a man named Simple Ben, armed only with a pepper box. But Ben was quiet and slipped from his ride and managed to slide to the other side of the sand hill just as cunning as a fox. That black force came leaping over the crest, and Ben had one chance to try his best. He shot his pistol blind into the sky. The rider came crashing down from his horse. Ben didn't feel 1 ounce of remorse. Smothers lay in the sand with a red hole between his eyes. By the light of the moon, Ben stared at that head, half ghost, half man. Either way, he was dead. Even so, Ben felt he too was half dead with fright. Mounted his horse and kicked his studs, turned and rode it like a thief on the run. Never looked back as he raced through the desert night. Now it's said the body was never recovered, even though they managed to bury the others, but they found his horse and guns and clothes further along. So heed this warning, sisters and brothers, the dark legend of the ghost outlaw Brook Smothers may be somewhere out there riding on.